In this video, we'll be talking about why Breaking Bad could actually be the best show to ever air on television. Even though it's been 10 years since this iconic show aired its final episode, the numerous awards, amazing spin-off series, and millions of memes tied to it make it clear just how much of an impact it had. There's no doubt that the show has quite the legacy, but are these things enough to earn it the title of the best show of all time? Let's find out. Obviously, for a video like this, there will be spoilers, so without further ado, let's get right into it. One of the most important things in a show is the kind of characters in it. Some would argue that it's even the most important aspect. Any show that is going to air for over 5 seasons must have compelling characters, and that's a fact. Viewers can overlook a few bad episodes from time to time and even ignore some poorly written dialogues, but the thing that's sure to keep them around is the kind of characters in the show. It's no surprise that many show watchers get attached to characters. Some even fall in love at times, and in many cases, the character doesn't even have to be likable. As long as they're complex and compelling characters, the viewers are sure to stick around, and it appears that the writers of Breaking Bad knew this very well, because the show delivered so well in this regard. Bryan Cranston, playing Walt, and turning out to be one of the greatest anti-heroes in a TV show, was something nobody could have expected, especially when most people already knew him as the dad from Malcolm in the Middle. Sure, Hal from Malcolm in the Middle was a pretty erratic character, but the fact that Cranston could take the same qualities that made Hal funny and use them to portray Walt in the villainous and terrifying light we saw in the show just goes to show how talented he is as an actor. It's crazy how Walt went from being a boring chemistry teacher to a cynical drug dealer. It's such an unpredictable turnaround that is up there with some of the best character arcs in TV. Walt's journey is both incredibly satisfying and disturbing to watch at the same time, to the point that it makes viewers wonder why they're so hooked to such a character in the first place. Apart from Walter being a major factor that kept fans around, the incredible supporting cast also played a vital role in the show's longevity. For starters, his insanely funny relationship with Jesse Pinkman allowed us to see Walt in so many different ways. His brother-in-law, Hank, went from being one of the most annoying characters in the show to becoming a noble hero. We can't talk about compelling characters without mentioning Saul Goodman, Walt's shifty lawyer. Bob Odenkirk was so good that he even got his own spin-off show, which turned out to be the work of art we all know as Better Call Saul. With such an amazing cast and intriguing characters, it's no wonder Breaking Bad was worth watching even after the first 4 seasons. Even the major villains like Hiz and Lydia played their part in this, and let's not also forget Pete and Badger, 2 characters that gave comic relief from time to time. Many other amazing characters added depth to the entire storyline of the show, and when you take a look at how they were all connected to Walt's actions, it's clear they all had some pretty wild journeys. Obviously, the characters made the show great, but one fact you can't deny is that the writers of the show were actually responsible for that. The thing is, Breaking Bad as a show wasn't exactly the first of its kind, so it wasn't a huge success because it was revolutionary or anything like that. Other TV shows like The Sopranos, The Wire, and 6 Feet Under had already done the same things we saw in Breaking Bad. These shows were the founders of peak TV and were the first to evolve from the general sitcom genre, which was the most popular at the time. They showed that characters can grow and change throughout the seasons, and sometimes their impact is taken for granted because there are now so many good shows on several streaming services. Even at a time when all the shows are fighting for our attention, there are a few that still stand out. 2 good examples are The Boys and Succession, and when you look really closely, you'll discover that these unique shows all have good writing. That is apart from having compelling characters. The writers did an amazing job with those dramatic scenes because they have a way of sticking in the viewers' minds. Some good examples are Hank's parking lot battle with the twins, the time when Walt killed Gus, or even Jesse killing Gale. Another feature of impeccable writing is patience. Throughout the show, we see that the story was very well mapped out because of how patient the writers were. Apart from that, the writing was also incredibly unpredictable. You could never tell what little dramatic scene would pop up out of nowhere. Even though they were never expected, they never felt boring either, and that just goes to show how carefully written these scenes were. The next thing that made Breaking Bad such a hit is the pacing. The writers knew just how to get viewers coming back for more every season without having to use the popular cliffhanger method all the time. Breaking Bad featured the slow build-up method, and boy did they master it. Even though we remember the big dramatic moments from the show, they didn't just happen because the writers took their time getting to that point, leaving details and setting up the groundwork for those unexpected climaxes. The viewers were made to wait for these moments for a painfully long time in some cases. Some viewers might have hated this, but the truth is that they were like this to build the tension. The mastery of pacing is the reason why the writers of Breaking Bad were able to make those big moments so satisfying. An example is when Walt finally defeats Gus, because he had been waiting for so long for it. You end up being a lot more satisfied that it's actually happened after having to wait for so long. This is also the reason why the final season actually felt like the end for Walt. You could sense everything finally unfolding after being bottled up throughout the previous seasons. Pacing, characters, and good writing are all amazing, but we have to admit that Breaking Bad was one of the most stylishly shot and edited TV shows during its time. This beautiful cinematic ended up spilling into the spin-off series of the show, making it more obvious just how iconic it was. However, to achieve these pictures and effects, the directors played a vital role and deserve a lot of credit for that. Vince Gilligan, Michelle MacLaren, Rian Johnson, and Bryan Cranston at some point took the mantle of directing the amazing show. The vibe you get while watching a show matters a lot and actually sets the mood for different scenes, and that's why we have to acknowledge the beautiful soundtracks used in Breaking Bad. The show managed to feature many amazing artists from time to time, and they all understood the assignment because it all fit in perfectly. Finally, we'll be talking about the factor that really keeps TV shows up there with the greatest, and that's the impact they have on the world. By the final season of Breaking Bad, it was everywhere. It wasn't just the memes that were making it inevitable at that point, but there were so many parodies that you just had to check out the show if you weren't already watching it. Everyone loved the show so much that it got nominated for over 200 awards and won almost 100 of them, including a whopping 16 Primetime Emmys. The success from Breaking Bad birthed amazing spin-off series like Better Call Saul and El Camino, which turned out to be very successful in their own rights as well. Finally, we'll be talking about Breaking Bad's breakthrough in the streaming service regard. By the time the first 4 seasons had aired, the then upcoming platform called Netflix bought the show, allowing people to binge watch the first 4 seasons in anticipation for the final season. As such, the fan base grew even more, and by the time season 5 was out, Netflix got a huge boost in subscribers because of it. Good cast, brilliant characters, amazingly precise writing, beautiful cinematography, and a legend in the award department. Breaking Bad is all this and more. After really looking at all of these things, there's no wonder why many show watchers believe that Breaking Bad is the best show ever. That's all for today's video. If you think there's anything else that makes Breaking Bad the greatest ever, please leave your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.